All right, everyone, welcome back. Last game number 5 in this series here between ATN's DarKFoRcE and Grubby. Here in the 9 o'clock position, we do have DarKFoRcE as the blue Zerg, and in the 12 o'clock here is Grubby as the green Protoss. And yes, this is the 5th and final game in the series between these two players, and this has been a pretty interesting series. There have been some pretty crazy games. I've definitely enjoyed casting it, so hopefully you guys have enjoyed watching it. Also, I want to let everyone know that if you like my content, in terms of what you can do to help me out, help promote the stuff here, obviously liking and favoriting is pretty cool. Appreciate that. But, you know, tell your friends about it. If you see a good game, show your buddies. Be like, hey, you know, you like StarCraft, you like commentary, check out this FoRcE guy. Pretty solid stuff. Yes, indeed. And we can see right now, Grubby going to be looking to expand. We are again on the 5th and final game here, and this is going to be on Terminus RE. Do I ever cast games of myself? Yes, I do actually sometimes, but I'm gonna just close off that, and I guess, Mr. X Green, that you will hear my response when you actually see this casted game. So anyways, yes, we're on Terminus RE. This is a very macro-heavy map. Why? Well, it is effing huge. The map is gigantic, but besides that, you do of course have this natural right outside the main, but besides that, that third is so very close, and having these 3 bases right next to each other, very easy to defend while they're all together, and it just makes for macro focused games. Now, as we can see here, DarKFoRcE with the Overlord Scout gonna be scouting out Grubby's base. Grubby should immediately know where DarKFoRcE is and probably just gonna be shooting straight across the map into his base. So Grubby gonna be going for a Forge Fast Expand. Going to be pretty effective. Major concern, look at these rocks right here. These destructible rocks, making it so that even with this wall off, this can be whittled through, and you do have a back entrance into your base. So obviously Grubby's going to have to watch back here, or possibly even watch over here, but more likely he's just going to be trying to watch this area and sticking on the 2 bases for a while. Not very likely for him to go super crazy for a fast third. It's just not the most probable thing. A little bit dangerous, especially given the fact that, again, these destructible rocks leave you a little bit vulnerable in that position. So anyways, yes, Grubby going with that Forge Fast Expand. As we can see, obviously that Forge is being dropped first, then here comes the Nexus, and then we should be seeing a cannon right after that. Now taking a look over here, DarKFoRcE doing what he's done pretty much every game. Opening up with that 1 base play, getting all that Vespian nice and early, letting him get that metabolic boost right away, then pulling guys off the gas, then going to be seeing his expo around 21, 22 supply. Now obviously Grubby fully aware of what's going on, as he has always been, and trying to block this off, but of course as soon as those Zerglings come out, he is going to have to head back home. Overlord Scout going to chill out for quite some time. There is no way that he is anywhere near danger right now. There's not even a gateway, let alone a cybernetics core for any anti-air units to come out. Just wants to make sure he's not too close to that photon cannon, but even if he does take 1 or 2 shots, really not all that concerned. Based on this pylon placement, going to expect possibly some sort of a wall off or some cannons over here, again, to help deal with that possibility of the threat from these destructible debris being knocked down. Looks like DarKFoRcE has, in fact, gotten this hatchery down. The Probe Scout is going to be headed back home right now. Now, there is not a full wall off, but really not all that concerned. The cannon's going to pretty much take care of any Zerglings that try to run by, and there's only 2 Zerglings, so actually they're going to just head back. They don't really want to have to deal with that cannon, and Grubby is prepared to drop the next building, which is probably going to be that cybernetics core. Already, right here, DarKFoRcE starting to work on those back rocks. Now, Grubby does have quite a bit of time before he actually needs the cannons or anything over here to help defend himself, because it's going to take these Zerglings a really long time to actually break through that. And there's that cybernetics core completing that wall off right there. So there you have it. Taking a look right now, Grubby obviously just going to be working on his econ at this point. Also a cannon coming down here, which will help a little bit, except for if the Zerglings kind of scoot along this edge. So he's still going to want something over here just in case, because these eventually will get worked through. Not super soon, but eventually at some point. Back over here in DarKFoRcE's base, still no gas gathering happening. We can see a Roach Warren and 5 Roaches coming up. Going to be seeing some aggression. DarKFoRcE probably going to just try to be working through those rocks really early on. Now, we do have the probe coming on down. He's scouting the rocks, just checking to verify the fact that those are being worked on, and he did in fact see that those were getting worked on, so he is going to want to start to continue this wall off here. But here come those Roaches right across the map. Now, we do have a Probe Scout checking for that third base. Really surprised, actually, that he managed to sneak his way back in there, but there he is. That probe is going to be well aware of the fact when DarKFoRcE pushes out for his third. Now, it's going to be a little bit delayed because of the fact that DarKFoRcE is going for this aggression. So obviously here with these Roaches and all these Zerglings, he is going to be looking to push in and do quite a bit of damage here. Roaches do need to be careful. They're kind of moving in the wrong direction and actually taking a few hits. What is going on? Roaches trying to target fire down that cannon, but why not just work through the back wall? That definitely seemed like it would have been a much better idea. Zergling's trying to work through here. He's having to deal with these cannons. Gonna be trying to run by, but a nice force field there blocking them off. and basically making it so they can no longer push through. Gonna want to drop another building there. This Forge actually getting very close to dropping, and the wall off is not complete. Zerglings making it in, going straight for the sentry, going to take it down, then getting us around there on that cannon. Very, very nice here. DarKFoRcE doing quite a bit of damage. Definitely liking the fact that he pushed through this corner of the wall instead of those rocks. Apparently, that was the wiser of the two decisions. He's doing so much damage right now, killing a ton of buildings. He's got a ton more Zerglings streaming on in, not working on his economy at all. He just wants to keep up this pressure. Zerglings are in. Are they going to be going for the pylons? Yes, it looks like they are. Going to be trying to knock down these pylons, and there you go, forcing the cancellation of this one. Going to drop this one very quickly, and here it goes. Going to be dropped in just a moment. Cannons, while they're powered, going to be able to do a bit of damage. We have a few Zerglings running in the main as well. Going to be doing quite a bit of damage, and unbelievable. There's a huge gaping hole right now for Grubby. Grubby has got some serious damage control to do at this point in the game. He's got Zerglings in his main, hitting his Nexus. Ton of Zerglings chilling in the corner. Still a huge ass wide hole right there. And this is a huge problem right now for Grubby. Grubby has got quite a bit to contend with. We've got Zergling and a sentry coming through. He has finished his wall off, but for how long? Looks like this cannon gonna get dropped. See you later, cannon. Grubby low on resources and unbelievable. He's lost his Nexus, gets Zerglings chilling in his main. He's basically just defending his natural right now because this is unreal. The turn of events right now. We got a pylon over there. Still nothing securing the front here. The wall off is complete, but there's no cannons. There's no damage to be dealt to these Zerglings. We have that one force field. Zergling having a seizure inside of that right there. Look at that guy, just like he does not know what. Oh, he can still attack the pylon inside of the force field, and a ton more Zerglings coming on through, and this is unreal. I do not know how Grubby is going to recover from this. The amount of damage is completely through the roof right now. And I realize at the same time, yes, there's a lot of damage going down, but DarKFoRcE has been committed fully to this. He's just now finally starting to transition into an economy, but he has got a bit of damage that he's doing right now, and he's going to be losing the Cybernetics core as well as that gateway. And it is, how is Grubby still in the game? He has not forfeited. These Zerglings just tearing through everything. The frontal wall is completely gone right now. The main base, aside from these two assimilators, is completely gone right now. All Grubby is doing at this point is sitting back in his expansion, and that is it. He's got a bunch of sentries, got a couple cannons coming in as well. That's going to help him fend off these Zerglings for now, but just unreal. DarKFoRcE going to town on Grubby here in the early game. That early aggression was unreal. The amount of damage he did there was just completely nuts. We have got one Zergling scout going to be scouting out the main, and actually he is just going to start working on these assimilators. The rest of the Zerglings actually going to start working on these back rocks here. Very wise of him. And another Zergling scout moving on in, and what is he going to be doing? Just checking along the edge. He wants to check buildings. You know what he's probably looking for? He's looking for something nuts like a dark shrine. Obviously we're way too far away from that even being a possibility, but he just wants to check to see what's going on, check for the possible tech and any sort of buildings that he has got. Now we have a layer coming through right now. DarKFoRcE really started to pump out his economy right now. I wouldn't be all that surprised if he got another base. Yes, there it is. So going for another expansion as well. Grubby looks like he is aware of that, but what is he going to do about it? I mean, he's clearly in no position to push out at this point in the game. He's got 10 army supply as opposed to only the 13. But the fact that he's basically relegated to this one mining base right now, that is no good whatsoever. So he needs to try to get his bearings, get back into this game, but he is definitely really far behind. A little bit surprised, really, that he put the Cybernetics core in this position, just because the reason I'm saying that, we get a little engagement going here. The reason I'm surprised, though, is because that looks very wide, just in the open, like ready to get picked off by any sort of run by that happens. And actually, the Zerglings getting torn apart from these force fields and these range units, but no, Zerglings able to creep in. One last force field going down. Really nice damage control there in that particular engagement, but overall, obviously, Grubby's had a really hard time in this game trying to come out the expo, but the Zergling's gonna deny that there, and gonna be obviously severely delaying what he had hoped to get up as an expo. Now there is a proxy pylon here. Grubby being a little bit mischievous, I would have to say. This is not finished yet, so at this point the vision is very there we go. Cannon rushing this expansion. Unreal. Let's see how much damage he manages to do. Grubby definitely needs to do something to get back in this game. You can see he hasn't managed to get up that base again. So here come the cannons, 1, 2, 3, and actually deciding not to go for that expo because he wanted to get those cannons up instead. Once he did get that temporary deny, he's got a few more sentries coming in, and now finally going to be dropping that expo. But let's see how much damage these cannons to do. Roach is going to be moving forward, going to take this one down very quickly, going to bring this one probably to about half health before it starts doing damage, and actually just forcing the cancellation. Grubby realizing there were too many forces here and that his cannons weren't going to do much of anything, just cancel them, try to get those resources back, and instead now going going to try just to defend this expansion. Couple cannons is what he is going to need because he's got this wide open hole and he's basically in no position to try to go ahead and wall that off. And hell, the last time Grubby tried to wall off, he paid dearly for it from that super aggressive push. Very, very nice play there by DarKFoRcE. I am just thoroughly impressed with the turn of events so far, but we still have to wait and see. Grubby is not completely out of the game at this point. Take a look right now. We can see the supply obviously severely favoring DarKFoRcE. DarKFoRcE is clearly in the better position, but if Grubby can manage to sneak something out, he could try to eke his way back in the game. That cannon, attempted cannon of this expansion was his attempt to try to do something like that. Clearly didn't end up working that well, though. Taking another look at the army supply, we can see Grubby still suffering quite a bit. Not too concerned that he's that low, though, because he's got sentries and cannons to defend this expo. I don't think he should be taking too much damage, but we're going to find out. So here comes the push right now. There are the force fields trying to do what he can and let those cannons survive. Couple more sentries coming on down as well. Nexus has just come in, and I think it's going to be defended there with those force fields and those cannons. He should be okay, but the roaches are going to be persistent here. They're not looking to stop anytime soon, and here he comes. Nice force fields trapping the roaches here in the side. Couple roaches over here, a couple roaches over here as well. These roaches have got nowhere to go, though, and they're going to get target fire down very quickly. One sentry getting microed back. Very nice there by Grubby, microing back that sentry. Overlord still scouting the main. Couple of Hydras sitting over here as well. Roach Hydra looks like that's going to be the composition of choice here for DarKFoRcE. In terms of income, he is at a severe advantage. He's just doing tremendously better than Grubby is right now. Grubby going to try to continue up this wall off, and again, just doing what he can to try to stay in the game. Now, a major concern, too, especially since the main bulk of the forces here for Grubby are sitting at the expansion. I mean, in all honesty, DarKFoRcE could just roll up here with a couple Roaches and Hydras and do a lot of damage before these forces actually even make their way through that maze to actually be able to help reinforce that. And this is, as I mentioned before, this is very susceptible to an attack. Roach Hydras will drop this down very quickly if DarKFoRcE decided to push in that position, and here it goes. Hydra's starting to work on that Cybernetics core. Look how long it's going to take these units to get over there. They're not even bothering. Cybernetics core, see you later. You're only going to be able to make right now Zealots at this point because yeah, that's see you later Cybernetics core, and that's what I was talking about. And now these units are going to be trying to wind all the way back around to try to deal with these Roaches and Hydras. This is not looking good. Grubby going to be losing this here as well. Some good force fields going down, but I don't think it really matters. Couple more Roaches coming out as well. A few more Hydras just popped. And yeah, we're really bad position right now. Only Zealots being warped in because that is all Grubby can warp in at this point. He did lose that Cybernetics core, and again, that positioning may have been a really bad idea. As it turns out, it just doesn't seem to be working for him. Stalker did manage to shoo away that Overlord. Overlord made it away with his life, though. And yeah, I mean, clearly, at this point in the game, DarKFoRcE in a commanding lead. Cybernetics core is, you know, if we were just to take a look at this, if this were the first time we were to look at the game, it's like, 17 minutes in, Cybernetics core's building. Okay, like what's going on? Pretty intense stuff, and clearly Grubby is really in a bad position. Really in no position to leave. He's going to be trying to come up with this expo, but is it going to matter? Huge push coming right now from DarKFoRcE. Grubby forced to force field, helping a bit, but his army size is very low. Still can do nothing but Zealots because that Cybernetics core isn't just finished, it just finished right now. Trying to come up with level 1 upgrades, but these forces are going to keep pushing. Sentry's very low in energy, no more force fields available to them, and that is a very bad sign. Here come the Roach and Hydra's going to start tearing through these units, and Grubby losing them one by one, losing a bit of workers there too, trying to move forward to engage with that, and there is the GG from Grubby. As mentioned in the beginning of this cast, this is a very macro-focused map, and we did see Grubby take advantage of that by going for this Forge Fast expansion here in this wall-off. Also, I want to apologize with the recap not having this area minimized. For some reason, it will not let me do that. Scouting the Forge Fast expand, instead of deciding to go macro heavy, DarKFoRcE decided to push out, and we're going to take a look here at how effective this push was. First, target firing down that cannon, then he went for this forge right here, and getting those two things down allowed him to sneak his units right on in, and eventually what ends up happening here is Grubby just loses this wall off completely. DarKFoRcE is able to push on in and just wreak havoc into his base, just being completely persistent, having lots of reinforcements stream in, and you can just see how hard of a time Grubby had dealing with this. Grubby ended up losing his entire wall off, and then he lost his main, and he was forced basically to just mine from that natural expansion. After dealing heavy damage, DarKFoRcE took advantage of his lead and started to work on his economy, coming out for a third, while Grubby was still relegated to just this one mining base. Grubby was able to temporarily defend some of the aggression from DarKFoRcE with these force fields, but in all honesty, it was all for naught. By this point in the game, he was just way too far behind. And unfortunately, maybe due to some unthought out positioning of this Cybernetics core, Grubby lost it because it was wide open. All of his forces were defending his natural, and it was so easy to for DarKFoRcE to snipe this down. And at this point, all Grubby could warp in when losing that Cybernetics core was a bunch of Zealots, and that was not enough to defend this continuous aggression from DarKFoRcE. So there you go, guys. The last game in this 5-game series between DarKFoRcE and Grubby. Looks like DarKFoRcE did go ahead and come out on top again. Sorry the recap had this bar here at the bottom. Usually I just hit Control W to drop it, but it was not working for me at all. I don't know if it's the map or what. But anyways, as always, guys, if you like the content, please do go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching. Keep watching and keep owning.